Probably the most important news event that happened in Los Gatos was the changing of the superintendent for Los Gatos High School. A lot of parents were pretty unhappy with her, and so we have a new one now. Probably globally, it was Trump's tensions with North Korea, and then South Korea and North Korea finally meeting and making a peace agreement.
I think one of the major things that has happened in the beginning of the school year was the hurricanes, because a lot of lives were lost, a lot of people were stranded, and it was like a very big time of crisis, and it brought a lot of people together. There was a lot of charities and like GoFundMes for it, which I thought was really good. People were trying their best to help the victims, and it was like a brutal hurricane. There was a bunch of hurricanes, and then the flooding that came after the hurricanes was even more damaging than the actual hurricanes themselves. The flooding caused so much damage, so many lives were lost, homes were destroyed, shelters for animals, a lot of animal lives were saved by certain people who went out and tried to save them and then give them homes or reunite them with their owners, which was super cool. And I think that even though it was a horrible crisis with so many disasters, it really showed the goodness of people, because so many people from all over the place just tried their best to help out.
I think that the Me Too movement has been the most lasting and has the potential to do good in our society because it has kind of ripped off a bandage of a form of sexual assault and harassment that has existed at highest levels. It specifically pointed out a lot of hypocrisy that was going on in Hollywood. People who we love to revere, and they're really being revealed as criminals. They've lost, their important jobs, like Harvey Weinstein and Matt Lauer and Bill Cosby. They are now also being held accountable in the court of law, which to me is even more significant, because losing a job doesn't really mean that there's been any kind of justice for the people who've been violated. And now we see that, Bill Cosby was just found guilty, and Harvey Weinstein within the past week has been brought up on criminal charges in New York. So, this really has the chance to really change the power dynamic between men and women, and say that any kind of form of abuse, no matter whether the person fits the profile of what a criminal should be, it's like anybody can be a criminal.
Probably the most important news story that happened in the U.S. was all the school shootings, and I think the Florida one really brought a lot of attention to the fact that there are a lot happening and it's really not okay.
All the shootings this year and last year is kind of scary, because I don't want to go to school and be like, oh, I'm gonna get shot today, because that's not cool. I'm here to learn. Yeah, like the biggest shooting at that concert, that was terrible, because that was one of the biggest shootings ever, and a lot of people died. And you know what? Concerts aren't meant to have people die, they're meant to have fun.
That madman who was shooting up just innocent concert goers.
And I think it kind of started the conversation about gun control. Not started it, but further continued it, and I think that was pretty big and pretty devastating to the U.S. as a whole.
I hope that there will be an upshot from these mass shootings, that, people in younger generations will actually try to make an impact.